In this video, we are going to continue with our architectural plan by first setting up our precast wall types. As I mentioned in the other video, we are going to keep our precast wall pretty simple as far as precast wall design goes. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we create our walls under structural instead of architectural, even though this is an architectural plan, because we are actually going to bring our architectural plan in and use it as a structural plan. This is another method that I would like for you to be familiar with on how you can set up drawings. Because in a lot of cases on structural drawings, you're going to get a drawing from the architect. And if the architect sets it up properly, it's going to make your job a whole lot easier. So we're going to go to wall and we're going to go to structural. And we're going to just take our basic generic wall and we're going to edit it because we're going to create our own wall type. So the first thing I want to do is I want to duplicate it. I want to call this my exterior precast wall. Then I'm going to go into the structure itself. And I need to add 2 more layers in here. So I'm going to do that before I ever start changing anything. So I'm going to do insert and I'm going to do insert again. I'm going to take this structure that was in here and I'm going to move it up outside of my core boundary. And I'm going to make this the finish, which is going to be the exterior side of my precast wall. And I'm going to go to by category and click on the 3 dots to get to my material browser. And I'm going to type in precast concrete. You should have a precast concrete in here. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to say OK. And now you see I have that. For my exterior finish, I want this panel portion to be 3 inches. The next part is going to be my insulation. So again, on number 3, I'm going to click up and it's going to take it to the outside of my wall because it's in between my interior precast panel and my exterior precast panel. And I'm going to select thermal air layer. And then I'm going to click on the 3 dots here and I'm going to type in rigid insulation. And again, you should have rigid insulation material. And I want it to be 4 inches. And again, the insulation value and thickness is all going to be determined by an engineer. Then I do have my structure on the inside, so I can leave the function as structure. But again, my material, I want to change this to precast concrete again, and I'm going to say OK. And I want it to be 7 inches. This should give me an overall wall thickness of 1 foot 2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK, and I'm going to say OK. Now I have created this exterior wall type. So if I go back to my structural, you'll see it stays in my structural. If I go to my architectural, it's showing up under architectural because we created an architectural structural wall, and that's what we want. So I'm ready to start putting in my walls, and for our purposes, just to make things easy, my exterior walls, I want them to be on the inside of my grid lines. So the first thing I want to do is I want to set my top constraint up to my roof. And then I want to actually take these walls up 3 feet above that. That would be kind of like my parapet. So I want my top offset to be 3 feet. And I want my base constraint to be at level 1. And I'm going to say apply. So now I'm ready to draw. So again, up here, everything is already set. The thing I want to change is I want my finish face exterior again to align with my grid lines. I'm going to start here at 1B and I'm going to go to the right and I'm going to stop at 2. I want to set my detail level to fine, and I want to check first thing to make sure it is going in the way that I want it to and that it looks right. So out here I see I have my 3-inch panel, then I have my insulation, and I have my 7-inch inside. So I am good to continue on. So I'm going to go back to my wall and I want to make sure I have a check mark and chain so I can just continue around. and I'm going to pick up where I left off. I'm going to start here at my grid 2B, and I'm going to go up to 2A. I'm going to go all the way across, going over to 5A, and then I'm going to go down to G5, and I'm going to come across to G to 2G, and I'm going to go up to E, and then I'm going to come back across and I'm going to close. So these are my perimeter walls. If I go and look at these in my 3D view, which I always want to do after I do something, you see I have my concrete walls. And again, if I change my level to realistic, if I look in here, you see I have my concrete, precast concrete on the inside and the outside. Now that we have created our exterior walls, in the next video we will create our interior walls.